one of them. The thing is preparing to do the thing, so I'll just babble incoherently here for a little bit. I guess incoherently would be like speaking in tongues, so I guess I won't do that, but I will simply babble. Go for it, D. I think the thing's going.
What's going on, everybody? This show is for educational and entertainment purposes only. You have to be 21 and over to be here. If not, you have to leave. Back to you, Fumi.
That's correct. 21 and over, at least where I live. If you have different rules where you live, please follow them. We always try to encourage keeping your nose clean, right? Because goodness gracious, there's enough trouble in the world. No reason to get into more of it. Bonjour, Christophe. I think Christophe is le premier in the chat. Well done, my buddy. Well
Bravo.
done. Here, let me switch to live chat to confirm. Yeah, Christophe is first in the chat. Good for you, buddy. Welcome to the show, of course. Now we're officially worldwide, D. We're not just North American, we're now international. We're crossing the transatlantic divide, as it were. But anyway, regardless of how international we are, ladies and gerbils, you need to be an adult to be here. If you are a
Right on.
child, kind, please abscond. That includes, presumably, if you're an alien species tuning in from some distant cosmos, I would just assume that you probably should be of age too. So I don't want to get in any weird international, intergalactic fucking shit. So we already don't get paid from YouTube or whatever. So it's like, man, come on, I mean, if we got paid really well, then maybe we would take a risk in intergalactic warfare or some shit. But we
Yeah.
don't. So we're not really going to take those risks. So please, children of all types, please abscond. Other than that, you guys are more than welcome to hop on here. You probably think we all lost our minds, which is certainly possible. Welcome, James. Welcome, of course, our illustrious moderator D. But in the meantime, instead of babbling, ladies and gerbils, it is a conversational show. You are more than welcome to say hello in the chat. You are more than welcome to say hello into the panel. Just please ask nicely if you'd like to join the panel. Really, there's no hidden tricks or traps or anything like that. You don't have to beg or grovel or some shit. Just ask nicely. That's all. I don't pin the link anymore, just because I figured it was essentially, yeah, just not appreciated, basically. So I figure at least this way, if anyone wants to join, they'll at least understand that there's some, you got to knock on the door, basically, right? So it's really just about that simple. Just don't be a dick. Don't show your dick. Don't be a lunatic. Those are basically the simple rules. Please don't bullshit. That's the unwritten rule of the show as well. I feel like that has to, or that doesn't has to have to be said. Or I can't even babble it out properly. It's one of those things that I feel can be unsaid, but shit, sometimes you just have to say it. Please don't bullshit on my show. There's a lot of bullshit in cannabis already. I don't tolerate any of it on my show. Every once in a while, I don't mean to step on people's toes, but every once in a while, if I feel like someone is kind of misrepresenting what I want the content of this show to be, I don't hesitate to step on their toes to say something. I always try to be respectful about it, but I definitely don't tolerate bullshit of any kind. I don't tolerate bad advice either, honestly. So that's one of those things, I guess. I suppose that's subjective. So candidly, that's really more of a me problem than a you problem. I guess if you're giving bad advice, I'll just step in if I feel like it's bad advice because it's my show. But other than that, you guys are perfectly allowed to come on the show. I guess with all that said, like I haven't said anything that you like, if you disagree with me or something, I'm going to ban you. No, nothing like that. You're more than welcome to disagree with me. Please bring your homework, you know what I mean? Or I guess do your homework rather. You don't have to bring your fucking homework. We don't want to read it. But essentially, make sure you're not just pulling it out of your ass. If you have a contrary opinion of some kind, whatever it is, if it's grow related or photography related, or even politics related. From time to time, we do talk politics on the show, as dangerous as that can be. But feel free to bring a different opinion. That's perfectly fine. Just be able to debate it properly, which is to say, in good faith. Make sure to have done your homework, I guess, like I said, and yeah, just be a civilized mensch about it. Don't be a douchebag, basically. But you guys are more than welcome to come on here. It is definitely politics season. It's one of the most surreal election seasons of my life. I think probably the most surreal election season of my life because it is quite clearly so consequential. And of course, depending on who you talk to, you'll get a variety of different responses, which is challenging at this point because honestly, I feel like there is no discussion really left to be had. You either kind of are on one side or kind of on the other side. There really isn't anything in the middle. There are plenty of people who say they straddle the middle, but I really don't believe them. I really think that they've already made up their minds usually, and they're just too embarrassed to say so. So it's a strange, polarizing time, at least in the U.S. I know that that's actually more and more common around the world. There's a huge right-left divide now in a variety of countries. Poland actually just flipped from being really quite right-wing now to back basically, because they were for quite a few years semi-left wing, basically kind of social democrat, kind of like the Germans. Anyway, they've switched back, and the righties that were in charge, they were some fucking Looney Tunes people, let me tell you. Anyway, there's some Looney Tunes people in Hungary right now. Orban's party, basically, they just absolutely I mean, just a tongue guzzle. The Russian party line. Honestly, they are Putin's best friends. Unfortunate, honestly, because Hungary and everyone in Hungary should remember what the fucking Hungarian or what the Russians did in 1956. They rolled in and killed a bunch of people and just rolled in with tanks blaring and didn't give a fucking shit about a very mild reform, basically. Mind you, that was only like 10 years after World War II. Anyway, I guess some Hungarians forget or have forgotten. Uh, this is a weird show. This is a weird beginning of the show, I have to be honest. But anyway, I guess I'm talking about the weird politics of it. I guess that's what's surreal about it. It's such a consequential election, and yet it's just kind of there. I don't know. The media has really done a terrible job this year. I think I think at this point almost no one would argue that we have a good media system. At least again, I'm being very America centric right now. They've really dropped the ball. I think a lot. I think basically all sides would or both sides would agree, because again at this point there's basically two sides. But especially on the left, many people would argue that the media has completely dropped the ball in talking about Trump as if he's essentially a normal guy, and minimizing his pretty obvious cognitive deficits and everything else. The dude's 78, I mean, like that's really precipitously fucking old. I don't think you could really, with a straight face, not argue that. That was the best argument against Joe Biden. Shit, I couldn't even with a straight face avoid that argument. I mean, holy crap, the guy was way too fucking old. Well, guess what? Trump is now 78 as well. That's just not the right age to be a leader of a fucking great country. Perhaps sultan of some minor island somewhere. I don't know. I mean, maybe you can get away with it, but Jesus H. Christ. I mean, I think the Sultan of Brunei is getting up there. Even he is not 78. I think he's in his early 70s or something. Anyway, and you won't find me arguing pro sultanates anywhere around the world. But anyway, it's a election, and if you guys want to discuss it, you're more than welcome to come on here. You don't have to be pontificate about it for the first half hour of the show. But in the meantime, like I say, more than welcome if you have a contrary opinion. Just please simply bring it respectfully. And so I guess I should have said that first of all. Obviously, if you are talking about politics and stuff, you have to be ultra respectful because people get super offended. Religion, politics. I oftentimes forget that people are so sensitive about religion, for example. And I swear all the time, I say, Jesus H. Christ. And I realize that's very offensive for some people. Just permit me that. I don't know. It's my show. I guess just tune out if you don't like it. But I realize
Hey,
that some people are even more. What's that, D?
are they eating pets in Oregon as well?
Definitely, they're eating our dogs. They're eating our cats here in Oregon. It's not only it's
you're
actually
shooting up
everybody.
with
It's not just the illegal and legal immigrants. It's actually they've just made it a new thing. It's just it's the
and,
new
you're-
farm to
and you're
table.
shooting up
It's
and you're
so
shooting
fucking bizarre. Like they're eating their dogs, they're eating your cats. Like you want to vote for that fucking guy? Like let's just be frank with each other for a moment. You
yeah,
want to
really.
vote for that fucking guy? Whatever.
Um
We have to
and you
pretend
guys
that
aren't
there are, what's that, D?
and you guys aren't shooting yourself up with chlorine or bleach to make sure you don't get COVID, right?
Gosh, I tried, but it didn't work too well. Yeah,
Oh
but I
damn.
survived, so I guess it must have worked.
That's a good thing.
I injected myself with UV light also, as the president recommended. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a good one.
What a nut
We
job.
get a new
I'm actually
view of Captain 420's
yeah.
domicile, it looks like. What are we looking at, Captain? Are we looking at some house plants?
Yeah, this is my front porch, my mom's
There you go.
front porch.
There you go.
Oh nice.
Here, I'll take you a little bit out because
Let me spotlight you.
I have both Wi-Fi and everything with this one. So
Fancy.
this is our rose bush, and we still have little ones that want to come out.
Mhm.
And then we've
I
got
think that's actually,
thistle
believe it or
for,
not, I think that's one of the weird downside, upsides, whatever, of global warming. We have a couple of roses out here. I've had roses blooming all through the winter, like flowers get confused and bloom in January and shit. It's a little spicy. But anyway, go ahead. Back to you, Captain.
and then out here is my mom's 95-foot long, 6 feet wide raised flower bed. So yeah,
Nice.
you
I bet
know,
that's
the
pretty in the
house
summer.
is, you know, pretty much flowers. It's colorful.
That's cool.
The
I bet there's
garden's out back.
a lot of pollinators, right? Bees and butterflies and stuff,
Yep.
right?
And here's where the hummingbird feeder is. Because we have a couple hummingbird feeders.
Oh, did you lose them? Is he roboting for you guys too, or just for me?
Just for
Probably
you.
for everybody. So that window up there is my apartment. But at the top of that window there, clear across, I've got 30 feet ceilings in this garage that I can park a tour bus in. So I can grow tie.
What an American house. Like the garage is on the side and can fit a tour bus.
Nice.
Well, the
The
gentleman
European
that
person would just shit themselves. They'd be like, "What is this? What are you parking here? A submarine?"
Yeah, I seen a guy on Moonshiners, he would park that he had a one of those big army like side by side trucks.
Hmm,
He had that parked in the garage.
hmm,
It's huge.
that's cool.
And yeah,
Well, we should say hello to everybody. I guess I've forgotten to introduce everyone. Let's start with D. Go for it, D.
hello everybody. Thanks for tuning in. You can follow me follow me on YouTube on D Zombie underscore 745, where I do free shows usually. I'm smoking on a peripheral of stuff. Right now it's purple sour diesel. Hope everyone's having a great day. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, chat.
Welcome. Go for it, Captain Dank.
Well, I've changed it from Captain 420 to Ohio's Captain Dank, so you can go right to Instagram and look me up. Don't show a lot of cannabis pictures, but I show a lot of bird pictures, flower pictures. Eventually, we'll get another account where I will show flower and I will show gardens, but this is my personal account. You can get a hold of me there if you need to. And then we have North Star here again.
Indeed.
Cheers, North
How's
Star.
everyone doing?
Go for it.
What's the word,
Alright, howdy.
everyone? Harvest season. We are in the thick of it now, man. We got plants coming down. We're starting some cold nights out there. So 'tis this season. Work all year for this time of year.
Fun.
Now I have a question for some of the breeders out there. If you guys do collabs with other people, and even if they give a couple females or they happen to give the male, do you feel like a 50-50 split in the seeds is correct on the genetics that you gave up to be in that collab? You're not asking for all of them, but just the ones that you put up, do you think that's fair?
Wait,
You know, I
just-
don't know. It really depends on your relationship with the person you're working with and what your actual end goal is. I'm looking to do a collab here in the future where I'm going to work with somebody, but I don't even want anything. I just want just to recognize that the plant came from me is all. I don't even want anything at all. So it really kind of
Okay.
depends on who you're working with. Now, if you're working with somebody that's, you know, maybe got a much larger company than you and are, you know, they're really out there and big and maybe, you know, say, yeah, hook me up with, you know,
Nah,
some
this was
seeds so I
the
can have
other
some
way around.
because chances are their seed stock's going to sell pretty quick and you'll be slapped over with some of the same stocks so you can sell it too, or I don't know. It's a tough one to say, really.
No, this person asked for my help in picking out males and females
Okay.
to go with this. And last year was his male, but I gave up 3 really good strains to be crossed with it. And this past year was my male.
Okay. Now, what's the main purpose of the seeds? To actually get them on the market and sell them to the public, or just to replant them yourselves and grow more and hunt more stuff out? Okay.
Kind of both. Because one was the lemon G, and we hit it with a whole bunch of gas. And I was trying to tighten up the bud structure a little bit and add more trichlomes because I think it would be a great washer. But everybody that we sent them to, I think, kind of selected what they wanted to grow. And they threw the ones that I was possibly looking for away. So I need to
Well,
do
you know,
like a
if you actually
200
plan to
seed.
sell some of the seeds, I would say if you're gonna actually sell some of the seeds, I would collab also on the seed packaging to get together so your packaging looks the same as the other person, so they're not like two different seed companies selling the exact same thing, and then you know customers think somebody's ripping somebody off. If you just come together and go in halves and create packs together that are collab packs and put them together and then split them packs, I think that's quite fair, and no one gets confused by that too, as to it's somebody else's original strain and it's being sold by somebody else. I think that would help that.
He named it after himself. How you like that one?
Well,
Lemon Jays. Yeah.
I mean,
But-
if you feel we could just say, all right, well, you know, just flip me some cash and you just have them all for yourself and just call that the collab.
Yeah, you know, and
I don't
he's
know.
telling me he has thousands and thousands of seeds, and I get like 200. That's enough to do a pheno hunt. And that's
Yeah, I
about
mean,
it.
if you went to work to hunt out the prodigy for that, and you're not, I mean, it should be a half thing pretty much. If you're actually going to share the seeds, it's not a gift to somebody.
And we kind of
And
had that
especially if
understanding going in.
Yeah. You know,
So-
it's probably getting to the point somewhere in the near future here where you shouldn't even be doing collab deals with people without it being written into a contract somewhere, because you're going to start having issues like this pop up more and more, I would imagine. Even with the naming of strains and everything, just so everyone knows what they're getting into ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point in anything in cannabis, if I expected money out of something, if it wasn't just for giggles, I would make sure to have a contract.
Yeah.
People
Probably a good
that are regular watchers of the show know that I've been screwed a few times by some of the supposedly good people in cannabis. Some of these guys
Yeah.
get calls from big names in cannabis, right? Like their scumminess doesn't seem to matter, right? You really have to, which says a lot about the people they work with, by the way, I would think. You really have to have a contract. You really absolutely have to have a contract. If there's $100 involved, you have to have a contract. If you don't give a shit about the money, for example, North Star was just saying, "Oh fuck, I want to see what happens," and da 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 da. That's its own value for North Star. I'm sure
Exactly.
he's whatever he wants from that. In that case, fuck, whatever, you know. But yeah, if there's any money involved, because shit, if you could get sued, I mean, Jesus H Christ, I'm going through this fucking lawsuit in California now. It's going to take 2 years of my life, on and on and on. Doesn't matter that the fucking guy is completely off his rocker. Doesn't matter. It's going to cost me a fucking fortune. You could get sued too over something as simple as some seeds. Oh, we thought we had 60-40. Whatever the fuck. Right?
I am so full aware of the whole not having a contract. I worked with Sub for years, no contracts at all. And when shit all
That
fell
was a
apart,
different time.
I'm stuck with 500,000 seeds that he was going to buy that now he didn't buy. So they're my seeds, and then I have to deal with Miss Jill and everyone else saying they're all fake and blah blah. I'm like, so I stuck putting all this money to make all these seeds that are going to be bought, and now I'm stuck with them all. Instead of saying, all right, well you have to take the seed because they're your seeds, and you have to pay me X amount of dollars for them. That would have been the fair thing, even at a discounted rate. Renegotiate something, but just take them. I'm still sitting with thousands of freaking seeds that it's not my seed line I'm trying to unload. And I just at some point, if I could have easily have just said, all right, all you desert rats here, take them all. I don't want them. And then it was ran and sold them all, and then I still would have been a piece of shit. So I'm like, fuck you guys. They're basically the ones that told Sub do not get into a contract. He tried to get me to do some feminized stuff and other things. And I said, well, let's start getting stuff into writing. So, talking to Will, he's trying to be all smart, talk. I'm like, we can talk all you want, but I want to see something in writing. Send me something in writing that I can look at, and I'll send you a response back in writing. And that was just end of it right there. We stopped doing business after that. So that's exactly, it tells you a lot.
Yeah.
They're not willing to put it to pen to paper and do what's meant to be done.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and listen we don't have to have well, I guess it's one of the biggest cautionary tales. How many people have gotten into contracts with cookies, and now you hear lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. And mind you, I don't know who's right. It could be the cookies guys that were honest, but in the meantime, it's fucking years. And the same 2-3 year long lawsuits that I'm dealing with right now, they're gonna have to deal with too. So they're gonna have to pay for their lawyers through depositions, through fucking filing motions and this and that, and some response to amended discovery and amended discovery and amended discovery. And my fucking God, it's tens of thousands of dollars potentially they can drag out of you. Hundreds, right? So
especially when you're paying lawyers by the hour.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I remember the rule of acquisition the Ferengi rules of acquisition number 16. A contract with
the
a contract
fucking Ferengi at least had honor. Like seriously, the cannabis industry would be like, it would be better off. I shit you not. It would be better off if the alien Ferengi from Star Trek were real and ran the entire cannabis industry, because then you would actually be able to run things by the rules of acquisition. You could trade with fucking gold pressed latinum and shit like that. Yeah. No, Ferengi wouldn't like sell their own grandmother, right?
Thank you guys for your information.
But but there is a rule of acquisition in there where you can't sleep with the boss's daughter. I just don't remember.
Well, that wouldn't be bad.
Cheers, everybody in chat. Cheers, Miss Chronic. First in chat, like always.
Oh, I forgot to hit that like button. You people out there, don't forget to hit that like button and get out of top chat, get in the live chat.
Unless you don't like the show, in which case, like I say, why are you here?
Hit it twice.
No, I was watching an awesome program earlier while I was having a couple hours ago while I was having kind of late breakfast, tasting history with Max Miller, this guy that I've been subscribed to for a long time. I don't know if it was a brand new video or not, but it was on my suggested feed, and I was like, oh, I want to watch this because I was eating breakfast. The question was, what did medieval people eat for breakfast? And so he basically discussed that. He's like what is he, a doctor of? Is he a history? But it doesn't matter, honestly, if he's a historical doctor, doesn't matter. But what am I trying to say? He oftentimes talks about not only the history but the linguistics of old foods and their names and everything, and that actually makes these cool old dishes. So he made what was it called? Sopes dorao or dodo or whatever. Anyway, which basically means golden sop, which was essentially toast that you serve in kind of a sop, and a sop basically is a kind of like a gruel, and apparently the word sop is actually pre-soup. So eventually sop became soup as they added more water, which is really a strange conceptual thing. You're like, wait, soup is only a few hundred years old? Yeah, apparently soup is only a few hundred years old. It's always amazing. Like sandwiches. You'd think like, wait, bread with stuff is only like 150 years. Yeah, that's like they're literally that. I mean, they used to eat bread with maybe a thing on it, but that wasn't really a sandwich, right? Anyway, so sop was basically just a thing that you would sop up, like the verb basically comes from the action. You would sop up the gruel or whatever with your bread, and it could be some kind of different pudding. It could be different. It could be a gruel from the night before, and then he basically made this kind of sweet saffron based oh shit, now I forget half the ingredients, but anyway, it was flavored with basically nutmeg, cloves, and stuff like that. So he said it was very reminiscent of cinnamon toast crunch. My point is, you could be watching that instead of this show. If you hate this show, instead of trolling or being an asshole or being a fuckbag, just go watch that. Go watch
I
soccer
used to like
commentary if you're into soccer. Shit, the rest of the world thinks soccer is life, right? Go do that. Go watch tool making videos. I don't know. Go. I just watched an awesome video about this guy, Zach Builds, I think was his name. He builds speakers. He literally builds DIY speakers. Go watch that shit. Be constructive with your life and go watch that instead of being a hater or a troll or just kind of a meanie pants. Just go watch that. Go watch something constructive. If you want more recommendations, I'm going to start doing that from now on. I'm going to start giving recommendations for YouTube videos. Seriously, like in all seriousness, for people who are too fucking miserable in their lives to actually go find it themselves. Because I don't know. Shit, maybe that'll help. I don't know. I don't understand why people would sit and hate watch something. Like you have one life and it's so short, it could end tomorrow. Why would you spend even a fucking 15th of a second hate watching something?
Better yet, instead of sitting even
Exactly.
watching something, let them do something then. If it's that,
Isn't that the best
really.
advice? 100%. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm gonna take a dab here. It looks like I forgot to clean my banger here last time. It's annoying, so I just cleaned it. So
Uh-oh.
a second to let it cool down and take another shot of the dab here. I kind of do these cold starts, so I have to start it at least like room temperature, so it's kind of predictable. Because I've been meaning to get one of those. They have a few different like temperature sensors and stuff now, but I haven't. I guess I don't dab enough to really be a freak about that. Um, just like, for example, I still just have the same banger that I've had probably for 3 or 4 years easily. I mean, it's a good banger and stuff. It's a heavy bottom banger. It's a yo, I guess. But yeah, I don't have one of the terp slurpers that you take out every single time, an alcohol swab, and oh my goodness, too much. I mean, I guess arguably what I do is already frou-frou because I know plenty of dabbers that don't clean their banger. I think I'm getting water all over my computer. That's probably not the best idea right now. Um, a lot of people don't even clean their banger, or they just basically heat clean it essentially, and then when it gets too chaz, they just throw the banger away. Everyone's different, right? I like to have a mostly clean banger, but as you see, I'm not like super religious about it, but it is basically clean to the point that at this point it won't smoke, or it shouldn't anyway. And then I can take a nice, in my opinion, clean dab. But your mileage may vary. Let's try this again.
Yeah, I left all
Got
my bangers in Thailand. I dropped, my friend gave me his Hitman, which was his first dab rig when I came to Thailand because I didn't have anything to do the dabs out of. So he gave me his old Hitman. And a couple months before I was getting ready to come home, I kind of dropped it on the floor.
Oh,
I didn't break the rig itself. I broke the inner diffuser stem,
oh,
broke in it. And it's like, God damn, I would have been happier if the base would have broke instead of the piece inside the glass.
I'm gonna roll up some nice dank sticky icky icky T13 now. Ooh wee, put it in the air. I mute myself feeling here.
So does anyone know if those what's it called, the health stones, are those even a thing anymore? Are those like now considered bad for you or something? I mean, everything at one point was new, innovative, and sometimes seems to be like unhealthy for you or something now, but they always seem kind of cool.
Remind me what the health stones were. That wasn't
It
like
was
the
like a little like
email.
porous, like black, like stone type of bowl, and you put your dab, it would just melt into the.
Okay, I remember those. I
I
haven't
don't remember
seen
what they
those in a
exactly
long
were.
time. To be honest, I haven't seen a lot of the like D-nail style stuff at all. Um, then again, I guess part of the problem is that like there's not any cannabis clubs anymore really to speak of in the Portland area. Um, there was like up to 3 at one point, and now there's literally 0. Flight Lounge is technically still in business, but they're constantly like temporarily closed for business. So yeah, like, and in California, I don't think that at least the one time, okay, the 2 times that I went to a public cannabis facility, I didn't see anyone bringing their own nails or nail equipment. So like, I guess you'd have to go to people's houses to see that kind of stuff. Isn't that crazy how times changed? It used to be a lot more public to, I don't know, weird.
Bring your own stuff.
But yeah, I don't even really hear people talking about using DNA. It's all like terp slurper this, terp slurper that. I don't know. What about folks in the chat? How do you guys dab these days? I know some people still just dab on e-nails with the titanium bangers. I've seen plenty of people with those. There's honestly nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I still have a Earl Electric that's got a titanium nail, and it has a little like a little quartz dish that you can slide into the titanium nail. That's kind of cool, man. It's actually because you can take it out and it's a little easier to clean because it's a little tiny, like little individual dish that comes out. But
I always wanted
then
one
if
of
you
those.
get something that slurps up over the edge of it, then it gets stuck in there. So
Yeah.
you have to be careful about keeping that clean.
I wanted one of those fancy D-nail setups. I'm not criticizing the thing. It looks amazing. What do they use? Like sapphire and all kinds of different shit on them. Like amazing and really easy to clean and everything else. These super like modular setups, but fuck, they're expensive. I think the last time I priced one out, it was in the few $100s. So I was like, I like dabbing, but not quite that much, honestly. You know.
What's one of the things I've
Oh,
seen recently, well, not recently, I guess in the past year or two, is those like little pipes that have the laser that lights your fucking pipe with a laser. It
Oh,
has a
that's
little
cool.
thing hooks top. Yeah,
That's cool. Right
it
on.
looks pretty cool. I mean, it looks way more expensive probably than I want to spend on something, but
That's it. Yeah, that's the thing.
it
I mean,
looks
to each their
cool.
own, right? Like, fuck it. I guess I haven't blinked at spending tons of money on camera equipment. You probably don't blink at spending money on guns. So I guess, who are we to say about somebody spending $600 on a
Yeah,
dab rig or something, right? So
I
it's
guess.
almost
Yeah.
like $700, right? That's not really that much when you compare it to a nice gun or a nice camera lens or whatever, or a fucking camera. Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Or even
the
what?
gun I looked at was 590.
Oh shit, but that says nothing. Guns can go anywhere from what you have these like Brazilian specials from $300, but you can spend $30,000, $40,000 on a gun, no problem.
Oh, easy.
And you don't even have to go
Especially
to some rare
vintage.
gun store for that. You can find that kind of stuff at any gun store in, for example, Portland. Like you could literally walk in, I'm sure maybe not every gun store, but I bet you almost every gun store has 1 or 2 gun setups that you could put together for like 30 grand between the
There's a
scope.
place there by Cap called Black Rose Firearms in Ohio. They have a whole section
Yeah.
of all real fancy shit. Like the grips alone on the gun are like $1,000 for these special made grips on them, and they're all just all fancy-fied up, 24 karat gold
Oh wow.
bead
What's
for
it
the
called
sight in
again?
the front and all kinds of extra
Oh,
accoutrements,
yeah.
all that fancy
Oh
stuff.
yeah, you get crazy custom shit made for it. It's cost expensive.
What's it
What's
called?
it?
Well,
Jesse
here in
James makes motorcycles. He makes some wicked ass guns. He makes some real nice stuff.
here in
And I think
Ohio,
all this
you don't
nice that
even
started like
need to.
$10,000 for a pistol, and
Oh,
then
Here in Ohio, you don't even need a permit for concealed weapon. They did away with that a couple years ago. Yeah, I happen to live in the Midwest in Ohio, where Cleveland is like the 7th, 8th deadliest city in the country.
Are you in an area where you can get free natural gas at?
Uh,
Is that mo
we
closer towards
can,
West Virginia stuff?
we can down on our farm because we have 4 active oil wells.
Nice.
That's what feeds the 2 houses.
Oh,
And
sweet.
it's also one of the reasons why I can never live there until my mom dies and the trust goes to me, because she was afraid I'd take the natural gas and like run generators and thousands of plants.
Hey, I'm sure those grips alone are a couple $100 for sure.
$825 for those. They're
Yeah.
apparently mammoth.
Holy crap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's craziness.
Mammoth tusk.
Just that unique stuff. A lot of mammoth tusk.
Yeah, $950. Isn't that beautiful? Wow.
Nice, but
Yeah, they
wow,
stabilize it with colored resins.
Yeah.
I got more better things I can use. Spend money on like
Yeah.
that way. That's crazy.
I know.
Some of the best firearms in general are Cabot. Cabot makes some insane 1911s. They made a set made out of meteorite, I believe. It went
Oh,
for
wow.
$250,000.
Jesus. Oh,
Wow.
Well, little pieces of meteorites can be
Yeah.
thousands of dollars.
mhm.
They had to source out a piece that was big enough and it had to have the right structure that could withstand the pressures of a firearm too. Obviously, the barrel itself is regular steel, but the slide, the whole frame, everything is all meteorite.
Wow.
So yeah, they spent a big chunk of money on the meteorite to start with, and then it took a lot of work to get that into a gun.
No doubt.
Yeah.
It's fucking hunted.
So my
Okay.
Death Star joint was perfect for today. What's everybody else smoking on?
I had a joint of ice cream cake before the show, and then I just dabbed. I honestly should have written it down. I had something. I haven't bought any hash for a while, so all I have is what Bud gave me a few weeks ago. He gave me something and something else, and I was dabbing the something else. The one that's less fruity. But what else? I've got lemon tree drying. Gonna harvest some other plants soon. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow. I think I'm gonna harvest banana cream cake jealousy, which turned out beautifully. Honestly, yeah, it's stunning. It's very stinky too. Apparently, it's stinking up the neighborhood. I've got a huge lemon tree that's got to come down because I'm worried about caterpillars hitting it. Thankfully, it's looking okay so far, but only a matter of time, right? Man, I had a white runts that I got from Clone from this place in Portland. I don't know that it's white runts or it's not the same cut that I used to have, so I'm probably not going to keep that cut. That's for sure. It still needs 3 more weeks probably, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that one.
Good
Maybe
luck.
bring it inside, but shit on a brick. I don't know. So we'll see about that one. But anyway, I don't know why I started talking about that because you asked what we were smoking, but anyway, that's what's going on. What about you guys?
P13.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
P13
Nice.
at the moment.
I just
Does it
smoked a
feel
bowl of Santa Mort Sling when we were on here. It's the
Oh.
Darkwood cross with Colombian.
Cool?
Dang.
Nice.
Fuck, we gotta spread more around. The Colombian sounds super interesting. Flora's grown that. I guess Flora was in the chat, but he's not hasn't hopped on here one of these days. Well, shit, what time are we at? Oh, we're a little bit early still. Folks, hop on. We still have a little bit of time left on the show. I'm apparently a little bit high from that dab, so that's good. Good. But it's time for you guys to hop on here and join us. Rory
Ding
said
ding.
archive, maybe not. I guess I lost track of what we're talking about. Yeah, folks, hop on. Tell us about Croptober. It's right in the middle of it, basically, even though I guess it is early October. It's in the middle of it for me. I think a lot of people up in the sort of northern areas have already harvested or are already harvesting. That's why it was so surprising yesterday that Smash was like, oh shit, he's a few weeks off. I know that feeling because that was basically me last year because we were trying to actually finish the seeded crop. But yeah, it was just a total disaster. Croptober, there it is.
Yeah, I'm bringing in my one outdoor plant tomorrow. I'm pretty sure because it was. I mean, we've had 90 degrees for the past week, and it was hanging in there. I was hadn't getting the leaves coming out looking brown. I had a couple spots of rot that I had to pull out, and then this morning it finally cooled off. Boom! It had fog everywhere. It was in the 50s until like 9 o'clock this morning. So I'm like, you know what? A couple more nights of this, and you're gonna have some rough fucking mornings. You're gonna be rotting out of here. So I think that's coming down tomorrow, and then another greenhouse gonna come down starting Thursday, starting taking some vortex down. So first vortex harvest. I haven't had any vortex come in, and shit, probably 6-7 years since I've grown any vortex. So that's gonna be nice.
Been a while since I've smoked it too. Yeah, I think the last time I smoked it, the last time I remember smoking it was back at the Cannabis Club in Portland. That was a few years ago. Yeah, that was like
I'm thinking more like 10 years since I've had it. I really think of it. It's probably been 10 years since I've grown a vortex for really. Yeah, shit.
So
looks great. So I'm looking forward to that.
I get this package from Spartan in Michigan because he found a closed up hydro store that was moving shit out. And they actually had some of Subcool seed packs there.
Nice.
And he had a limited amount of money, and he bought Vortex was one of them. Well, he sends me this mailer with bubble wrap in it, and there's a couple bags in it, and then there's like the rest of the bag is just filled with seeds. And Stoner me had to pick all those seeds up off my floor twice in Thailand.
You didn't have a vacuum count?
No. I
Vacuum
have tile floors in my house. I ain't vacuuming shit.
A vacuum and a pair of pantyhose.
No one I know had a vacuum.
Oh, true. I understand.
Everybody had tile on the floor. It's cool.
True.
And as you guys say, oh, it was 50 some degrees this morning at 9 a.m. It's only 57 here.
So it's official here. I put my heat on today because I'm not putting up with this cold shit anymore. It was freezing this morning here, so I'm like, forget it. So I changed the furnace filter, and I said, time for the heat.
Trying to show this article from the LA Times, but I'm not subscribed, and it's not letting me. Won't even let me. Like, it was a gifted article from the guy that posted it, but now apparently nobody can see it, so that's really annoying. The story was LA Times today. California's legal weed system is broken while Michigan's is thriving. What gives? Michigan has surpassed California to become the largest cannabis market in the country. There was a story about that a few weeks ago, maybe even a couple of months ago, and now I guess again, Michigan sells more weed than California does, even though Michigan has like half the population or less, something like that.
Ohio.
Thriving. What's that, Captain?
Ohio.
I don't know what you're trying to tell me.
All the medical patients from Ohio are going to Michigan.
Oh, well, that
all
makes
the
sense.
people from Ohio are going to Michigan because Ohio prices, we were still a red state, basically. And when you can drive one exit into Michigan and pick up a $60 or an $80 ounce, what? Yeah. So, and Michigan was recreational, and they have all the events up there. And as long as you're 21 and over, you can go to these events and purchase cannabis.
And they are reciprocal. I don't know if everyone in Michigan is, but they're reciprocal for medical cards. If you have a medical card somewhere else, you can use it in Michigan. Isn't that spectacular?
Correct.
Yeah, it's not California. I asked the Green Dragon. They're like, "Oh fuck, we wish that'd be wonderful," but yeah, no, California doesn't allow that. California's always been.
They used to.
And international too. Some places took international, like Canada and California.
I remember years ago, because Oregon doesn't have sales tax, which is, I think, very unusual for everyone. They're like, wait, what? What do you mean you don't have sales tax? Like, no, that VAT or sales tax or whatever, we don't have it. Oregon doesn't have that. It's only like one of 2 or 3 states in the entire country that doesn't have sales tax. And it hasn't had sales tax basically ever, essentially. So Washington and Oregon had this reciprocal agreement, which since has actually been ended, by the way, whereby if you were an Oregonian and you went to Washington, they would actually knock off the sales tax. So you'd tell them like, "Oh, I'm from Oregon. You might have to show your license," and they would knock off your sales tax. So like at Costco, Trader Joe's and stuff, they knock off your sales tax. Well, they don't do that anymore. So I remember years ago, I went to California and I just asked, I was like, "Hey, do you guys do the same thing in Washington?" They just burst out laughing. They're like, "What the fuck are you? What are you talking about?" Because in everywhere, like for especially California, they'll take you for every single fucking tax they can possibly take you. They're not going to say no to anything, right? But yeah, there's no way they're going to give you back some taxes if you're from somewhere else. Are you fucking serious? Come on.
Used to do kind of the opposite in Jersey. We used to drive from Jersey to Delaware because Delaware doesn't charge sales tax. That's where you go. You're gonna buy a new fridge. Go to Delaware and buy a refrigerator.
That's it.
Go buy
Well,
go
that's what
buy your shit from
Washingtonians do.
Delaware.
They
Your
basically
appliances and
come
stuff. 'Cause
down
you're
to
gonna save
Oregon.
lots of money.
Yeah. No, like
Exactly.
when I go
Massive.
like to the Portland Costco, it basically, I don't know how far is it, like a mile from the, I guess it could be closer, but it's not very far from the 205, the I-205 exit. There's only really 2 bridges that cross the Columbia, go figure, in the Portland area, which is a tremendous vulnerability. If we ever have an earthquake or anything else, it's going to be a serious problem. But hey, welcome to America where we don't actually build shit that we need, right? But so if you come right off the 205, you can go to Costco, and sure enough, half the license plates are from Washington. Because why would you pay an extra? I can't remember how many percent they charge in Washington. It's not quite as much as California, but it's close. It's like 8.5% or something. Why would you pay that extra if you didn't have to, right? So you just go to Portland Costco.
California, we are all over the place.
Hmm.
Basically, every little town can impose extra taxes. People vote on them every year. Like I get paid like 9.2 here, 10.5 over here, 9.8 over there. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You never, it depends on what city or town you're in, how much sales tax you pay, because they bring up measures on the vote for it to say, well, we're add 0.25% sales tax for 4 years to pay for this or that, and then people always. Everyone in California just loves voting for taxes. Every tax, like yes, vote for everything. I'm like, how? Stop it! Stop voting to pay more money for everything all the time.
In Canada here we have GST tax, HST tax, and then if you, I believe, I don't really shop at the cannabis stores, the rec stores. There's another tax that the government charges for cannabis as well. You get all those 3 taxes dinged on you. It's crazy. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. No.
Southern Vermont Vintage is saying, I was following the sales of Michigan for a summer. They were blowing California sales every month out of the water, doing like 50 to 60 million a month. Jesus friggin' Christ. Holy cow. Yeah. I mean, it can't just be, I mean, I guess it could be all the neighboring states, actually. There's no reason why it couldn't be, like you say, especially if they're red states and stuff. It's always surprising to me that people will risk their fucking life to go get some weed. I mean, like, for example, in Idaho, it's famous, basically, the popos would basically post up, like, in, little hidden spots, kind of like speed traps, right by the exits where people would go and get some weed in Oregon or in Washington and come back, and they would just pull them over. They would just assume that everybody has weed, and Idaho, it's still maybe not federal prison illegal, but it's basically fucking super illegal still. You can have a medical card, I think, but I don't remember. It's not super useful in Idaho, but yeah. Still, some of the biggest selling shops in Oregon and Washington both are on the Idaho border. Kind of funny. I guess people want their weed, man.
I do.
No, yeah.
Man, it's surprising. It's just, I don't know. It's such an idiotic thing to be so fucking crazy illegal. I don't know. Whatever. It wasn't too long ago. I've said this before. It wasn't too long ago when I was a kid. My parents' house got mistakenly raided for weed. They didn't grow weed, so I'm not lying about that. They definitely were not weed people. They were square as fucking 3 boxes put together. But yeah, the cops mistook basically a pellet stove in the basement for like the heat bloom of a grow, and literally just fucking raided us with SWAT teams with shotguns and everything. It was was nutty, right? And that wasn't all that long ago. I don't know. I've heard of people with. Oh, I guess I knew a guy in California that got busted for a medical. It had been a medical grow, but he grew too much in the new system, and he got busted for it. And he was basically stuck in the probably 3 or 4 year process of trying to stay out of a cage for having a few too many plants. It's such a ridiculous when you think about it, a few too many plants. Like, what's too many? In his case, maybe 20 plants or something. That sounds like a lot, but it's not a fucking lot of plants.
I'm
Well,
going to an event in Southern Ohio where we're actually going to have a discussion about that here in Ohio, because the way that the law reads right now is if it's rooted, it counts as one of your plants. And they did bust someone with 35 plants in their house. But I'm sure there's other
But what
circumstances
constitutes
behind
rooted?
that
I mean,
one.
like, does that constitute a rooted clone? I mean, if a
Yep.
rooted clone is illegal, 35 plant, we're all fucked, right? Like North Star, come on, how many times over is 35 not a good thing?
Planted 35
Uh,
of them yesterday, I think.
Seriously, right? So that's excessive. Do they
Exactly
mean
what you
like a
guys are
couple of
talking
ball
about.
or?
35.
Exactly what you guys are talking about. If it has
Yeah.
roots, it's considered a plant. No, whether it's male, female, a clone, a vegetative plant, those have no THC in them really. It doesn't start to have THC until after you start to flower.
You
Luckily,
have to.
this group has the University of Ohio there, which is Ohio's agricultural college, and they have some of the professors willing to testify on this.
I was going to say you have to remember that basically the politicians, and not only the elected politicians but also the agency employees, chairman of such and such, EPA this and so on and so forth, most of the time they are not subject matter experts. In fact, actually the head of the EPA and whatever would be some appointed person, right? They were good at raising money for some politician at some point, whoever was in charge at that point. But basically you have to remember most of these agencies and most of these government officials don't know fuck all about fuck all that they're talking about. They know how to be a politician, basically. Most of them are lawyers, so most of them know the law, but that's very abstract. You can apply to the law like a whip or like a cudgel to anything you want to, really. But they don't know anything about the internet. They don't know anything about artificial intelligence. That's one of the reasons why we see this absolutely ham-fisted artificial intelligence policy, or probably lack thereof. That's why a lot of these the so-called FANGs, basically all the gigantic corporations, Google, Apple, Facebook, have been essentially unregulated, except for now they're actually making waves. They might break apart Google. Most of these politicians don't know a fucking thing. Most of them don't even send emails. Most of them have assistants to send their fucking emails for them. So they're technologically illiterate. Well, can you expect them to be illiterate or literate rather about weed? I mean, I bet you anything that these fucking degenerates have smoked a ton of weed at their fucking parties, but none of them know what strain is anything because they're like your friends. They don't fuck all about weed, right? You have to be a weird nerd to know a lot about weed. So essentially, the people making policy about weed don't know fuck all about it. And so as they're making the policy, they're like, no shit, it's got roots. Sounds like a plant to me. All right, boom. And unless they actually have a subject matter expert come and talk about it and say, no, you have this little baby clone. They actually show them this little baby clone. And you can say, okay, this little baby clone physically doesn't have any THC, and yet under the law, it's actually considered a plant. Da, 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 da. That might inform some of these politicians, right? But unfortunately, most of the time, their only information comes from fucking lobbyists who essentially lie on purpose, right? So
Yeah.
that's spectacular.
Can you please move this for me?
Yeah.
That's it, Dongbot. He's saying the more things change, the more they stay the same. That's basically the moral of the show The Wire. Have you guys seen The Wire? We have one episode left to watch, but we just basically watched it. I watched it the first time years ago. Literally probably the greatest show on the fucking history of TV. It's definitely a little bit dry sometimes, but I love the show because it doesn't really beat anything into your head. And the other thing is that it humanizes every single person in the show, from the street level drug dealers to the not street level drug dealers to the cops that are trying to catch them, even to the the shitty, filthy cops basically that keep the entire system rigged and the police system. Anyway, it humanizes basically everybody in the show and shows very clear lessons. And one of them, honestly, is the more things change, the more they stay the same. So that's unfortunate, honestly, one of the lessons from the show. Anyway, well, shit, we could have a little bit left to go, or maybe we ran out of steam. I don't know. Maybe we'll just cut the show early. We'll see here in the next couple minutes. Maybe I'll take another dab. You guys have any news? North Star, you just stepped outside. You got any news for? You said you were doing a sale for October. This might be a good time to talk about it.
Yeah. We have a sale REAP 20. It's REAP 20. There's only about 5 days left to that sale. That's 20% off the entire website, the Genetic Supply website. Every order is getting a 10-pack Dairy Queen. That's the UK cheese crossed with Space Dudes, basically. And then all orders over 200 are going to get additional 2 10-packs. One of them is a pack of Eden, which is Boggs Sour Strawberry crossed to Jesus OG. And the other one is Lemon Stilton, which is the UK cheese crossed to Jack the Ripper.
I love
Man.
Those freebies.
I love
like
Dairy
by
Queen.
themselves. Holy
It's
cow.
a great one.
We got all kinds of good stuff on Genetic Supply. We have all kinds of other, we have some feminized Chernobyl stuff and more Vortex crosses from Groundbreaking Seeds on there. They have an F3 stock and some crosses. And then from Flora, South Bay Genetics, we have a whole bunch of OG stuff, lots of gassiness. All his orders get a free 10-pack of Magnolia Kush. So you get an extra 10-pack whenever you order one of his packs. We still have a bunch of S1 stock, CSI. Lots of fun stuff there. I have a few packs of some Christmas bud stuff left over. Not much of that left, but yeah. Lots of stuff on sale you can pick up right now.
And what was that website again?
Geneticsupply.com.
There you go. Yeah, man.
And let's see, we'll have clones will be coming back soon. We actually this past weekend on the Discord site, we auctioned off a Vortex clone. When I hunted from about 40 females, it was very similar to the Cosmo that I had from Sub back in the day, 2007 or so. And then I have a few packs of Sweet Tea seeds left. We auctioned off one of those packs on this weekend too. So we do that on the Discord page on the weekends. Some fun little stuff that's not really available, auctions, some clones, whatnot. We were taken down for a little while, so we just got it back up and running.
Right on.
Gave out a pack of Sweet Tea seeds at one of my very last tasting event kind of spectaculars or whatever. We had this awesome, it was like a flavor festival or whatever, and the flavor winner got a pack of Sweet Tea, and a couple of the guys were like, wait, Fumi, have you heard what's been happening? Because things with Sub were going really poorly at that point. But I was like, shit, the seeds belong in somebody's hands, right? Well, now if I maybe realized that Sub was going to die shortly after that and everything, maybe I would have given them something else besides Sweet Tea. But anyway, whatever. Supposed to be a real nice strain.
I've got 2 different phenos in my greenhouse right now going that are about 5 weeks in. So I'll be sure to show you guys them when I'm bringing them in, or maybe next week if it's not too hot out, I get in the greenhouse. I have to crawl in the back of it a little bit to get to them though. So we'll see. Maybe I'll trim my way back to those plants. When we get back there, I'll take some video for the show or something. But yeah, nice stuff for sure.
That reminds me of a house I was looking at. I've been looking at houses, and one of the houses that I looked at was actually a pretty nice house. In the sense of there was actually a little bit wrong with it, but the backyard was delightful. It had a really nice backyard, and one of the neighbors was a really avid gardener that actually had a couple of weed plants. So I was like, oh shit, one of us. But unfortunately, behind the house was basically like 3 houses in a row of completely covered over blackberries, and I was marveling at it because literally like it was just an absolute fucking bramble that had covered their back sheds and garages and everything. Like I don't even know how you solve that problem. Like you have to attack it with fire or some shit, seriously. But yeah, anyway, some people just let that shit go. Although in fairness, blackberries grow so fast, it could have been like half a season practically,
Yeah, sneaks up on you quick.
right?
The blackberry and wisteria. Oh my God, wisteria is that'll wipe out. Kind of cover your whole house in like 2 years.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful plant, but you got to keep them way away from your house because they get up into your shingles. And wisteria is famous for actually like pulling shingles off and stuff. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
like not good. It's not good for your house.
This house I moved here, they had the wisteria planted at the base of my deck at each pole. It was up the post. It was literally ripping my deck apart, ripping the railings off of my deck. It was wrapping around. Some of these things were like 2 inches thick, wrapped around a post and just
Wow.
ripping it apart. I was like, I had to cut it all apart, rip all the deck off, everything, because it was just mangled from the wisteria. It was Christ. It was the size of my leg down at the bottom of it. Surprised it didn't rip the whole pole off the foundation.
Yeah, they're incredibly aggressive. I think they're from Japan originally. But yeah,
Tell you what, that it attracted a lot of bees to my deck. I could not come out on my deck with a glass of something to drink without bees swarming me like crazy.
No, stunning plants, and not all of them are super, super aromatic, but they can be really, really nice and just very pleasant smelling.
Oh, yeah.
Really good plant, but like I say, don't plant it anywhere near your freaking house. Years ago, I made the mistake of having one in a pot near the house, and literally just within like just a few months, it was already sending like shoots and stuff up the siding. It was really nutty. We had to pull it away. I had to hack the roots out of the bottom of the pot. They're very aggressive, like really very aggressive.
I seen a
Yeah.
house. I seen a house on Instagram with a video where they were taking the stuff off the side of this house, and they pretty much took a forklift with some rope, and they peeled it back. And it was like just you can
Like a
see
wall.
you can see the wall. Then you look at where they peel it back, you see the window shape and everything in the branches. It is thick too. It was like 2 or 3 inches thick.
Huh.
So it's crazy.
Now I see the property has some really cool wisteria plantings. They're really smart about it. They have basically like a 4x4 post, but it's way out away from anything. And they have several of them. I'd say they're about maybe like 7-8 foot apart, probably 8 foot apart from each other. And the base of it's a wisteria plant, and basically it grows up the post each year, and it like sprawls out like a tree on the top. And they just cut it back to the post every year, so the top basically it sprawls out like a big tree kind of, and hangs down the flowers everywhere. And they just shave it back up to the post every year. It looks kind of cool when it grows in, and it's far enough away where it can't reach anything as long as you take care of it every season.
Oh, I wish we saw more kind of polyculture cannabis gardens, right? It'd be fun to see, like you say, trained wisterias in the edge, and then there's cannabis plants in the middle and tomato plants and whatever. Anyway, maybe one of these days we'll see more of those kinds of things. Anyway, I think maybe we'll start wrapping it up, ladies and gerbils. We can all, I'm sure, move on with our days. I bet North Star has greenhouse work to do. I've got harvesting and other stuff to do. So maybe we'll start to say our good evenings or good afternoons. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Go for it, Captain.
I hope everybody in chat enjoyed their break. I surely did. And thanks again, Fumi, for having this all happen. Everybody have a good one, and we'll catch you Saturday.
Cheers, Captain.
Peace.
Go for it, North Star.
All right, yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome.
Thanks everybody in chat for stopping in. And it's just harvest season. Get out there, get your plants down before weather gets them. You're better off enjoying something a week early than not having anything to enjoy at all. So
that's it.
Don't let some fool on Instagram tell you your harvest is too early and you're wasting your time, because you're not.
Nope.
Peace, everyone. Have a good one. Take care of your friends and family. Don't forget the people in the hurricane zone. It's freaking wicked out there, and it ain't getting any better for them.
Yep. Cheers. Good to see you, North Star.
Take it easy, everyone.
Yeah, he's not lying. They're saying that it's going to I guess it's actually going to wallop
I
them
was busy.
any time. They were saying just a couple of hours, 10 or 11 in the morning. They were saying it was going to hit in just a couple of hours, so it might be just any time. So hope you guys are evacuated. I know we've had some viewers from Florida, so I hope you guys, if you are down there, that you listen to the relevant people and you're in the safest places you can be. Holy cannoli, we certainly don't envy your situation. I hope you guys make it out of there. Ladies and gerbils, I guess we'll wrap it up on that kind of somber note. Honestly, you always forget some people are going through bad times when you're going through decent times or even good times. So it always helps to put things in perspective, doesn't it? Good to see a Penny Pebbler Ripplers and Dongbot Southern Vermont Vintage, of course, is lugging firewood. Good to hear it. I'm sure it's gonna be a nice warm winter. Jess and Beans in the house. Dr. DGC Jeff, of course, as well. Did I say couch? I think I did. Finding Keepers, what a good name. Finding Keeper says, do other countries have as big of a problem with invasive species like the US? I think they do, Finding Keepers. Of course, it probably depends on which invasive species you're talking about, but I was just, I guess, watching a video, I guess it was, yeah, yesterday about lionfish and how they literally started in like two little places off the coast of Florida in not even that long ago, like 1995 or something. And in that last, what, I guess it's 25 years or something, they're essentially completely overwhelming the Caribbean. And the current theory, the old theory was that they were literally pet fish. The current theory, apparently, is that they came out of bilge water on ships, basically, because back then they would just what's the word for it? I'm sure sailors probably know better, but take on and release bilge water, basically whatever they wanted to. Well, for example, if they sucked up bilge water in the Pacific Ocean, they might suck up a ton of fish, and the lionfish comes from the Pacific Ocean where it has its own predators and everything else. And they basically would release that bilge water in the Caribbean. And oh, wouldn't you know, you got some hungry ass lionfish that have been in that goddamn bilge tank for however many weeks now. They're just ravenous as fuck. Well, they're already ravenous. You don't really have to encourage them. And no predators in the Caribbean. So basically, they've just absolutely exploded. Same thing goes for the, snakehead. I want to say in the Midwest, it basically came from merchant vessels. I want to say that came basically up the Great Lakes. What else? A lot of these the invasive barnacles and shit, they come off ships pretty much. But man, we've got all kinds of different. Sometimes they've been introduced. Rabbits were introduced intentionally to Australia, and they became a gigantic fucking problem. Anyway. We'll wrap it up there, ladies and gerbils. Did we miss somebody? Penny Pebbler Ripplers, good to see us. Salton Sea Seeds as well. Who else? CTC. Everything that P Diddy keeps doing this hurricane shit. If anybody has a hurricane weapon, it's P Diddy. Yeah, as if. Dude, they're actually literally saying that stuff. That's another thing that this political discussion, that people have just lost their shit. They're literally saying that Kamala Harris is like controlling the hurricane with weapons. Just shut the fuck up. I mean, seriously, like Jewish space lasers and hurricane weapons, shut the fuck up. Seriously, though. Anyway, J5 is hanging with us. Good to see you as well. Who else am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing somebody here. I'm always missing a Midwest Outlaw. Good to see Midwest. Who else is hanging that we might have missed? There's always someone that slips between the cracks here. THC Garage. Good to see you, THC Garage. Well, ladies and gerbils, if I didn't shout you out, hopefully I will shout you out next time. Please remember, we'll be here again next Wednesday at high noon, noon Pacific time. Ladies and gerbils, please adjust your calendars accordingly because, of course, noon Pacific time. So, for example, if you are where D is, it's usually 3 hours ahead of time. That'd be 3 p.m. in North American time. I guess that'd be 15 o'clock if you did European time or some shit, but that's not GMT, so don't listen. You figure it out yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, because I can't possibly figure it out for you because we're fucking poor stoners here, right? But in the meantime, D, are we going to do a takeover on Saturday?
Definitely.
Right on.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Sweet. The takeovers are on this channel, but they're actually in the evening Pacific time, ladies and gerbils, 7 Pacific time, 10 Eastern, I guess. So again, adjust your schedules accordingly. And of course, we're still doing the main Tuesday show on the regular channel. Who knows if I'll do that forever, but we'll see. For now, we're still doing it. So Humidor and the Flavors is that channel, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not subscribed by any chance to that one. Don't forget to subscribe to D's channel, D_zombie_745. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Exactly. You're asking stoners. What do you want, people? Use the googly doobly. Adios, folks. Thanks very much for hanging. Be kind, be decent, be gentle, no way fucking pricks, dicks, or lunatics. Puff something wonderful, and until we meet again.